Hi guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today you're here to talk about Mercedes with Joe, or AO Turno UK. Probably said that wrong, didn't I?
No, it's pretty good. It's better than most people that I've heard. So yeah, we're just going to be talking about Mercedes today. So it's actually the second time we've done this. I remember doing it back in 2014 when I was just starting out. So yeah, it should be pretty good.
And that was with Mercedes as well, wasn't it? I don't know whether that was coincidental or not. But
It was meant to be.
Right, so there's no place really to start with Mercedes except from last season. Like, they couldn't really have dominated it much more, basically. Except from the 3 races that got away from them, they pretty much dominated the whole season. So many 1-2s. How would you describe last season?
I think it was pretty much what everyone expected. I mean, like, the 2014 season was so dominant, and even the wins that Red Bull had were sort of as a result of Mercedes slipping up. So everyone thought, 2015, pretty much the same rules, pretty much the same outcome, and that's pretty much what happened. So yeah, even the ones that Ferrari won. I mean, you look at Malaysia, it could have been Mercedes if they hadn't messed up the strategy.
It's probably only Singapore, wasn't it? That was actually
that was the only one that were really sort of off the pace, I guess, all season. So
it's pretty crazy. And do you think, or do you hope that's going to happen again? I assume you don't want it to be. No one wants it to be that dominant, but yeah, do you think it will happen again?
I don't know, because again, it's sort of the same rules, but I think the Ferrari was obviously catching up last season. And what you tend to see, I mean, I remember when they had the rule changes back in 2009, when Brawn sort of dominated. Obviously, they turned into Mercedes in 2010, but it's sort of after 3 or 4 years of the cycle of rules, you tend to get a far sort of closer field. So I think it could go either way. Whether Ferrari could turn up with a good car, I don't know. But I mean, Mercedes, you think have just got so much in the bank. I mean, they've had so long to think about this year's car that it's difficult to put it past them doing exactly the same again.
Do you think that Rosberg can realistically beat Hamilton this year?
I mean, he had a great end to the season, but I think Hamilton had definitely taken his foot off the gas. Quite literally, but yeah. But I think Hamilton is. I'd imagine he'll sort of have realised that at the end of the season, Rosberg was sort of catching him up, and I think that's probably given him the kick up the backside that he probably needs, rather than just sort of cruising home to the end of this. Well, he did cruise home to the end of the season, but Rosberg was really on it because he had something to prove. But yeah, I think Hamilton will probably come out the blocks pretty quickly, and I think a lot of people are expecting Vettel to be his main title challenger this season rather than Rosberg. So I think it'll be interesting to see whether Rosberg can actually take it up again.
I mean, I really would like to see Rosberg win the championship, just to be something different.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Hamilton fans obviously don't want that competition. They'd rather just see Hamilton win. But I think for the other fans of all the other drivers and all the other teams, they want to just see an interesting race, which we had a couple here and there throughout the last 6 years where a car's mostly been dominant. Or 7 years, I suppose you can include Brawn as well. But yeah, I want to see interesting races like week in, week out. I know it's asking for a lot, but 2012, I suppose that for me that's always been the year where just everything happened. Like I wouldn't mind, even if it was Hamilton still winning the championship, I wouldn't mind seeing a year like 2012 where 8 different race winners in a season.
Yeah.
Seems like a light year away to have something like that happening again.
I know, yeah. I think it would be good, like you say, to have something like 2012 where you have just more than one team sort of competing. Because I think 2014 was, I think people sort of saw it as a relatively good season because, we had all the new rule changes which brought the excitement at the start of the season. And then obviously you had the Bahrain race, which was 3 races in, I think. So that sort of, got people talking. About how good the racing was, and then you sort of had that battle between Hamilton and Rosberg throughout the course of the season. But I think it's like 2008, the last time that there was a real constructors battle on the last race of the season, because obviously 2009 you had Brawn dominated, 2010 through to 2013 you had Red Bull dominated, and 2014 and 15 you had Mercedes dominating. So yeah, I think 2016, if we can have sort of more than one team, even if it's just Ferrari taking the challenge to Mercedes, I think like you say, that's something that the fans would want to see, even if it does mean Hamilton coming out champion at the end of it.
I mean, how long ago that was? I was like 12 years old when Hamilton nearly won a championship in 2007.
Yeah.
11, 12 years. It's like so long ago. That's nearly half my life ago. that was like the crazy races. I can't believe how far everyone's come in terms of like having just one team dominate. Like I guess you were watching Formula One, I assume, at that sort of time.
Yeah.
And you didn't know going into the race weekend who's going to win.
No, exactly.
Which was so exciting. But yeah, I mean, realistically, Mercedes can't have anything, except the World Championship this year. Really, they can't lower expectations. I mean, they could definitely get away with less wins and still win the championship.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the thing. Is like the last 2 seasons they've won the championship so comfortably, and I mean, people are saying Ferrari can take the battle to him, but the question is sort of, can they do it every race weekend? Because Mercedes have had the constructors championship in the bag with sort of 4 or 5 races to go, and that's that's with a maximum of 43 points being available on each weekend. So they're winning it by sort of 100, 200 points. So it's a pretty tall ask for Ferrari to sort of even just like halve that gap, really, and take the battle to him. I mean, when you think of 2010 to 2013, where Vettel won his 4 championships, even back then, Red Bull was still winning the constructors title by a pretty big margin, and that was with I think two of those championships went to the final race in 2010 and 2012. So. Yeah, it's going to be a massive ask for Ferrari to close that gap up to Mercedes, and just because they've got so much in the bag. And you think probably, I'd say the summer break last year, they were probably already looking towards this season. Like the majority of their time was probably going towards the 2016 car, because they knew that they already had 2015 wrapped up, and they sort of had experience of it from 2014 as well. So yeah, I think that's sort of the scary thing about it.
That's what I've been discussing with all the other videos as well. It automatically puts all of the other teams on the back foot as soon as Mercedes have a season where they win. Well, you say, I think they won in Russia, didn't they, this season?
Yeah.
They won the Constructors' Championship, and then at that point it was automatically going to be one of the Mercedes drivers winning the drivers. So, yeah, it's just... I really just want to have a competitive Formula 1 field again at the end of the day. I mean, if Mercedes... are swapping each week with Ferrari with wins, that's good for Formula 1.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be important for have a good year next year, because obviously for Channel 4 and the British TV rights and all that sort of stuff, they need to have a good season to get those viewing figures back up. Yeah. I'm not sure how far it's fallen in the last couple of years, but I'm assuming it's gone quite down quite a bit.
Yeah, I think 2014 the global figures fell quite a lot because of like all the new engines and what have you, and people were sort of a bit skeptical, especially like the casual fans. So yeah, I think this season's important to bring those sort of casual fans back. And I suppose Mercedes are still around the world, they're a big car franchise, but Ferrari, when you say Formula 1, the first name that pops into your head is Ferrari.
Exactly.
So I think if they can really challenge Mercedes, that brings those casual fans back into the sport, and yeah, I think that's probably what's going to get the viewing figures up, and it's what gets people. It's what gets people talking as well. So yeah, that's really important.
Exactly, like a massive thing about the whole F1 community, not just gaming, but in terms of the whole community, in terms of watching Formula 1 races, everyone wants something to talk about. And if we're just talking about Hamilton winning, Rosberg winning, or Vettel winning, it's not that exciting because there's nothing new to talk about. And there's not like we had Verstappen last year, but there's not really like a rising talent or something that everyone's like really excited about apart from Verstappen at the moment, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you say, we had Verstappen last season, but once we've been talking about that for one season, it gets a bit old. I mean,
boring.
Even towards the end of last season, people were sort of sick and tired of the old, Verstappen going for the aggressive moves down the inside or whatever. It was just sort of repeated race after race. It gets tiring after a while. So I think like you say, we just need that something else to talk about. I mean, I think people are sick of the same Hamilton Rosberg rivalry. Sort of, do they like each other and what have you? I mean, that got tiring at the end of the 2014 season. So yeah, it seems over the last 2 years that the things that have been certain are the Hamilton Rosberg so-called rivalry, the Max Verstappen Wonder Kid and Pastor Maldonado crashing memes all over Twitter and what have you. So yeah, this season is the year that we need something new to talk about.
Something that would be pretty interesting was like a massive move in the driver market. I think it would be interesting. I don't know, it's not going to happen like Hamilton to Ferrari or something. That would just be incredible for Formula One to have two, well, you could say they're probably the two best drivers in the grid racing in the same team. It's not going to happen, is it, at the end of the day? But something like that to happen to Formula One, having two great drivers in the same team. It's like when we had Michael Schumacher back in Formula One, even though he wasn't like performing maybe is what people expected. It was just having him in Formula One made it exciting for some people again. So, shot in the dark, who is going to win the Drivers' Championship out of Rosberg and Hamilton? As we know, it will be one of them. Oh yeah, seriously, who do you think is going to win the championship? And where do you think Mercedes will end up?
I think it's going to be the same. I think it's going to be Hamilton that's going to win it, and I think Mercedes will top the standings. But I think it'll be by fewer points. I think once again, Ferrari will close the gap, especially over I think the first half of the season. I think they'll have closed the gap. But I think with 2017, being such major rule changes, I know we obviously had the big regulation changes in 2014, but obviously another set of regulation changes means that if Ferrari is sort of quite a way back, maybe, or looking as if they're not at least going to win the Constructors or Drivers' Championship after half the season, then I think they'll probably sort of shift the development to 2017, which means that maybe Mercedes' gap between Mercedes and Ferrari might be a bit bigger than maybe I guess is expected or is deserved. But yeah, I think Mercedes will still win that Constructors' Championship. I just can't see Rosberg beating Hamilton. I mean, he's just been imperious over the last 2 years, and obviously I think this is the 4th year they've been in the team together, and Hamilton's come out on top every year, so I can't see that changing.
Alright, I think that's pretty much everything, unless you've got anything else to add.
I don't think so, no. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
So, what's your channel at in terms of subscribers now?
Nearly at 6,000, I think. I think we're only about 10 off at the moment, so
okay, we've got to definitely
get there,
you'll probably be at that before, but yeah, just go over to Joe's channel. Definitely give him a subscribe. Definitely subscribe to his channel. And try and help him up a few hundred subscribers. That'd be awesome. And yeah, I'm sure we'll do another video at some point to talk about some F1 news.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It's been Alex and Joe out of here. Goodbye.